Hello and welcome to the next installment of Matt's Minutes. Today we're going to be focusing on academic language and content knowledge. As you can see in our Indicator 1.1 rubric, it discusses the amount of students that are using the language or the amount of time, and it also discusses the level of depth and breadth of the key content knowledge and academic language in the conversations. Today's minutes is going to be focusing on Marzano's six-step process for teaching vocabulary. This process came from the book Building Academic Vocabulary, and there's a six-step process that we can use to help teach students vocabulary terms. As we walk through these, each of these will go a little bit more in depth into what the stages mean and how we can use those in the classroom. I'll provide you with a tool at the end and then discuss how we can take our conversations to a deeper level with the students. So the first step is to clearly define what the word is. Makes sense? The students need to know what that word means. The second step is having the students use their own words to describe the term. So linking back to previous Matt's Minutes where we talked about using critical thinking skills and being able to rephrase or revoice what other people are saying. Now it's giving students the opportunity to describe their own words describe vocabulary words or terms using their own words. They're using background knowledges and experiences and making connections to other words they might know. Step 3, I think, is a really important one that sometimes I overlooked as a teacher. It's using pictures or graphics or symbols to help make that connection. Sometimes just memorizing isn't good enough for students, and they need to have another clue or cue to help them understand what that word means. And oftentimes pictures is a great way for students to quickly draw some image that will relate them back to the meaning of that word. Step 4 talks about using the words in another way. Can they use that word in their writing and conversation? And this is an important one that I think a lot of times I know I didn't do enough of. I think it's one thing to share all the vocabulary words with our students, but how are they able to use and apply it? Can they use this word in another way? Are they using that word in a conversation? When you ask them a question, are they using that word? Are they using that language? If they can do that, they're critically thinking about that word. They're more cognitively engaged. They all kind of tie together. So we need to make sure that we're providing opportunities for our students to use vocabulary in other ways. The fifth step goes to that collaboration piece and that relationship piece. Can the students work with their classmates and discuss that word? Maybe they have different ideas, different visual representations, different connections that they made that might help another student. We need to take the time to offer those opportunities to allow students to discuss the word with their classmates. And then the last step is solidifying that connection by using some sort of game. Below they give some ideas, bingo and Jeopardy, Hangman, Wheel of Fortune. Those are all different ways that we can help make that abstract term more concrete. So these 6 steps allow students the opportunity to take a vocabulary word or term and take it to a deeper level through a variety of activities. Here's an example of a way that you can have the students kind of record their own thinking for vocabulary words. It has the term, what the actual definition is, what that means to them in their own words, the visual representation, and then kind of they're giving them a chance to self-reflect and rate themselves of their own understanding of that word. 1 is high, or 1 is low, 4 is high. Where do they fall in that spectrum? The nice thing about this particular chart is you could use it individually. You could use it with small groups. You could use it as a whole class. You could have everyone using the same terms, or they could use a term that they don't know. Maybe they encounter in their reading during Reader's Workshop. They could fill this out and make that connection using this form. To conclude this Matt's Minute, The more students learn high utility words, the better. They'll be able to comprehend text that contains those words or similar ones. And I think I chose this particular quote because when I think about classrooms, my classroom in particular, when I was a teacher, I had a lot of students talking. But were they using the academic language? Were they using those terms on a regular basis? Were they demonstrating their level of understanding by their ability to use and apply those words in their thinking and their learning? Some days yes, some days no. But I think if I would have helped them realize the importance of understanding why we need to use the specific focused academic language and content knowledge, the better their answers are going to be, and it'll help their thinking as well as the thinking of their students. So thank you for using these particular steps in the classroom. Thank you for allowing your students to share their thinking and encouraging them to use academic language and vocabulary. You'll notice that these steps can work with any content language, can work with any vocabulary, can work with the essential verbs and nouns that we distributed early in the semester. This just provides a framework for helping students really grasp the true meaning of those words. Thanks for listening to Matt's Minute. Have a wonderful day.